What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in once again to the Yokai Delinquents. I am Sean, Bearded Capitalitin,
And I am Jerry Robo Tengu Smith.
and we are here once again to just chat up on all kind of nerdy goodness. We want to thank you for tuning in once again, and please, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We beg of you of every episode. but Jerry, it's always been interesting weeks going down, and I want to know what you want to talk about today.
Yeah, so far the biggest thing on my mind. So there are some new games coming out this week. One of the ones that I'm more excited about is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, taking place in the Viking Age. I've been preparing myself by watching some Vikings. I think it's a show that you and I actually started, or I don't know if you were watching it before. I started watching it, but I know we were watching it together for a bit there.
Yeah, like I can't remember if I kicked it off and brought it to your attention or vice versa. Who knows? But there was a point where we were definitely watching it together at the House of August.
I think it might have been a thing of like we finally got caught up in Game of Thrones and we were looking for something else to scratch that itch, so we started Vikings,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, very possible.
Yeah,
But it's an excellent
but
show. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, no, it is fantastic. Yeah, we are at the end of season 4, and I think that the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game is kind of going to take off of sort of the same, historical moment of like, Vikings going out to the was it? I guess it's south of them because they're Northland,
Right.
but going out to the kingdoms of Wessex and Northumbria and stuff like that, and trying to start new lives for them, and you get to like build a camp and do stuff for it to build it up and get better stuff and go out raiding and have the ships and everything like that and ally yourself with different countries to fight other countries.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like it's going to be a pretty cool time. And another cool thing about it, that I think is interesting, because the current one that I'm playing right now that I'm probably not going to finish before this one comes out, um, the Odyssey. So whenever you first start playing, I know in previous games they kind of had that thing where you're like, a specific character like Ezio or whatever.
Right.
So in Odyssey, whenever they first get the artifact or whatever, and they're like, oh, there's 2 strands of DNA on it, you get to pick between a male or female character in it. And in Valhalla, they actually make it to where you're technically the same character, but you can fluidly like change male or female whenever you want,
Oh,
which is
anytime. So
pretty
okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
very cool. I'm glad it's becoming an upward trend.
hmm
Because World of Warcraft actually did that with the latest. It was supposed to be part of the expansion, but now it's the pre-patches that got delayed till later this month. You can now go to the barber shop, which used to only be change up your hairstyle or facial
hmm
hair or whatever. You can now also change your gender at any time completely for free,
Oh wow,
for acknowledging the fluid players out there. I think that's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. I thought that was a really awesome choice. I seriously cannot wait to play this game whenever it comes out. I think I've got the countdown going on my PlayStation. It should be coming out 9 p.m. West Coast time for me.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that is a franchise that's really grown. Like I played the first one and probably about a few hours into the second one. And
Yeah.
the first one's pretty bare bones, but really, of course, it was very revolutionary for the time. But it is a story of assassination, and of course, the whole modern day, the memory machine. But like once you're in the past, it's pretty much a pretty a vengeance story from what I remember. And you
hmm
assassinate, go here, maybe fight some guards, but a lot of the parkour and adventure. Then by part two, uh, with when it goes to Italy, and then you're building your town, your defenses, and the series has just really grown even more and more, all the way to like what was it? Had the ship battles in the pirate
Oh
world,
yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, Black Flag, I think was the first one to really have naval battles, and then they had Origins, which I think kind of maybe started the ship battles. I can't remember, but Odyssey, like I think they already knew what they wanted to do by Odyssey,
Right.
so they're like full in. You're upgrading and customizing your ship. Though I think that Valhalla, from what I've heard, they're not going to have naval combat. They're actually only going to be used for mobility, like as transport and
Well,
stuff like that. But you
and
still
that
get to customize them and stuff like that.
right. I mean, and that makes sense, honestly, for the Viking Norse setting. I mean, while you obviously ship battles had to happen, they weren't
Yeah,
like they were in like like pirate era or a lot of
right.
other like explorer era because those boats were pretty. I mean, there wasn't much room to battle on a boat to boat
Yeah,
battle. They may throw some
yeah,
shit at each other, but they're like, "I'm gonna meet you on the beach, motherfucker, and we're
right.
gonna get down over
Yeah.
there."
We're gonna shield wall to get through these arrows that you're shooting at us while we're rowing to you.
Yeah,
But once we
exactly.
get to you, it's on.
Like once I get to the motherfucker,
Yeah.
it'll be an axe to the head, and you'll be in Valhalla.
Yeah, it's been a really cool thing about Odyssey, and Odyssey deals with a lot of the Greek gods and stuff like that, and like kind of another thing that I was going to bring up, and I don't know if you've watched it or anything yet, but Blood of Zeus on Netflix. Have
Have not
you?
watched that yet. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm kind of now that my October horror marathon is over, I'm kind of getting caught up on what I've been put on the back burner for my horror movie time. So
right.
yeah, but I've heard good stuff about it.
Man, I mean, it's like you're, a new take on one of those like sort of demigod type stories.
Okay, is it like a
Yeah.
kind of a Clash of the Titans kind of thing?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a lot like that. They introduce you to your characters, and you have your one where you're kind of suspecting, like, this guy seems a little extraordinary. I think Zeus did some fucking around here because Zeus was sleeping with everybody,
As he do.
so you had demigods running around all over the place. But yeah, just having the main character's story unfold, and they play in with the Greek gods a lot in that
Okay.
series, and it's by the same people that did Castlevania, and I think you said that
Uh,
Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, that's I
Ah,
believe that's all the same studio. Yeah, those
yeah.
are the anime that's not anime.
Right, right.
Well, I kind of controversial statement there. Actually, I mean, but yeah, it does sound like a good show. But okay, so I brought it up. If you want to dive into this,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
there's been some. I recently, as a time of recording, I just recorded an interview where someone else brought up that the Blood of Zeus and Castlevania. They mentioned they
Hmm.
were digging them, and I was like, and they called them anime. And
Hmm.
like I'm pretty sure I talked to Lisa a little bit about this on one of my unpopular opinion videos you can find on my channel, the
Right.
Bearded Kappa Productions,
Yeah. Yeah.
of is it anime? Is kind of what I call it. And the big one that started it is Avatar: The Last Airbender, a absolutely phenomenal cartoon, fully worthy of being called an anime. And again, I'm
Right.
unless you're really discussing it, like in like the production and people are gonna, I'm never gonna correct somebody for calling it
Yeah.
an anime. But if they
Yeah.
want to get into it, I'm like, it's not an anime. It is
Right.
heavily anime influenced. It's inspired by it. It's got the long form storytelling per season, like anime, but it is a Western production, a Western created product, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, where the lines blur, where we get into like I know Castlevania, a fantastic show on Netflix, a fantastic cartoon. It blurs the line a little bit more into anime because it's a Western or Japanese property, being Castlevania,
Hmm.
animated by I think it's Madhouse or like one of the big anime studios in Japan. But it was written by a British author, Warren Ellis, a well-known comic book writer, and produced and created. The concept was created by the American Netflix studio. So that blurs line, and I'm assuming Dragon's Dogma and no, which granted, Dragon's Dogma is also again another Japanese video game. I don't know who wrote that. I don't know all the details into that one.
Hmm.
But like so again, and I've talked with people, and here's the thing for me is a lot of like I grew up in an era where there was a clear definition between a cartoon and an anime.
Hmm.
Because even though I had anime as a kid, I didn't know what anime was.
Hmm.
Speed Racer, Macross, being called Robotech over here. Even Gotcha Man, known as G Force and Battle for the Planets. They were, and even to a different extent, the Transformers, even though that was a purely again Western created from Japanese toys, and which eventually became an original anime over there in Japan. But like, I mean, like my big thing about this is, and why I kind of like defend the difference, is because I think when you credit it, shows like Avatar as anime, you're taking away how good Western cartoons have gotten.
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's kind of funny, right? Because I mean, whenever you're going into talking about Castlevania and stuff, is it like the bastard son of anime? Is are we taking like like pieces of anime and doing it in the Western form and stuff like that? But yeah, like it's really one of those things where if somebody doesn't really know or doesn't really watch anime, um, they're just going to assume that something like Avatar is anime.
Right.
Like, and so I've got the definition of anime pulled up here.
Okay.
Anime is hand drawn and computer animation originating from Japan. Anime, a term derived from the English word animation, is
Right.
used in Japanese to describe all animation, regardless of style or origin.
Okay. And well, there you go too. Then that so and over there, it's all anime. Even if they're watching Ed and Eddie, you know, dubbed over there or subtitled, they call it anime because in the short term it's animation. And
Right.
again, I'm never gonna be like, no, you call it anime or you call it a cartoon. But for the sake of differentiating when I'm talking about them,
Mhm.
I think there has to be a line. And also, again, it's me. It might just be me,
Mhm.
but it's like again, like the big difference, the big takeaway of it is like by calling some of these amazing Western animations anime,
Mhm.
it's like it's kind of just taken away from how far Western animation has come. And
Right.
we've had long ongoing series even before the influence of anime was truly felt over here in the West. We had like even the cheesier '80s cartoons had long arcs. Transformers had long form storytelling, even though it was very episodic at times. There were moments where it turned into kind of the anime style of long form. Because I think that's what anime really brought to the West was long form storytelling, more serious storytelling. Even though it's not necessarily mature, but it's more serious. Like Batman the animated series. I think some people could make that argument, but that really
Mhm.
dropped long before the anime boom really hit from like when you were younger.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely remember Batman the Animated Series quite a while. I'm pretty sure before I started really getting into anime
Right.
or really recognizing it.
Like for me, the anime boom was when Dragon Ball Z hit. I roughly put it in those shows that were also going on around that time. Like,
Hmm.
Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, those were some of the big influences. But even before then, and of course, if my old man memory serves, and this is for me, because I know when I first saw Dragon Ball Z on UPN, like we talked in the past, I'd already been
Hmm.
watching Gargoyles, and
Hmm.
Batman, and those were shows that handled pretty serious, storytelling within a Western animation, and even though they may have had anime influence because they knew of it, I would say the vast majority. By that point, I had seen it, but it definitely wasn't part of like every kid's Saturday morning or Saturday or no or after school afternoon shows. So like that's really what I'm just kind of I guess I'm really just getting to is that like differentiating it to give credit where credit's due, as far as how far Western animation has come. Now, like again, like Avatar, I mean that's ours. That that is a completely Western and heavily Eastern influenced, of course. But that's
Hmm.
nothing new. All countries borrow influence in their cinematic storytelling. And but like I said, with like Castlevania, that one's a bit more of a blurred line.
Hmm.
It's very anime in animation style, storytelling, very mature. But but like because it was like Netflix wanted to make that show. They produced it and written with Warren Ellis, a British writer, but taking a Japanese product, but it's still very Western in origin.
Hmm.
So like, is that anime? Is it a
Yeah.
cartoon?
And I mean, honestly, if you watched that and then Vampire Hunter D like Bloodlust back to back,
Right.
like it would almost you would be like, no, this is the same genre,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fair, and I get that. And
Hmm.
again, like I said, now and I'm 100% okay with the line being blurred now, because
Hmm.
we all just love it. But like I guess like I said, the bigger ones where I'm just kind of like, yeah, but it's not. right, really the biggest one is like Avatar. You know,
Yeah.
that one is, that one while styled again, but it's like, and like someone argued with that with me, not argue, but we were discussing it, and they were like, yeah, but if it's completely styled like that, that makes it anime. I was like, well, okay, well, let me put it like this. You can look at, for those of you who have seen my drawings, you've been looking at them. If you're watching this podcast,
Mhm.
and I got a new one up for this episode debuting.
Mhm.
My art style, my drawing style is very anime influenced. Akira Toriyama, even before Dragon Ball Z, was actually his Chrono Trigger artwork he had done for that video game back on Super Nintendo. I had the strategy guide. I just drew and drew from it, and I have a very anime art style. I feel that doesn't make me a manga artist. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
I look at myself more as a cartoonist, which again, it is, and I know a lot of this is tomato tomato. When I'm not over here again, I don't know why I keep reiterating it because I don't want to come across like a condescending dick. I'm not wagging my old man finger. You called it a cartoon, damn it. I don't want to come across like that, but it's like, like I feel like sometimes now with the popularity and boom of anime, which I'm right there. I was
Mm.
showing all my friends anime once I started being able to buy the VHS tapes or finding Dragon Ball Z hitting Cartoon Network. But there's so much good Western animation out there that sometimes I think it gets overlooked.
Yeah. That is for sure. Like there's some really great Western cartoons out there, and a lot of them are coming on Netflix, which I love that we have this platform that they can add it onto, and is working to get these shows made and everything.
No, absolutely. I mean, Netflix is, I know is, people have a love hate relationship with Netflix. A lot of people want to complain about some of their choices, but motherfuckers, y'all are coming back as soon as Stranger Things drop,
Mm.
and it's like, but they are on the forefront of a lot of this original content. But like I said, I mean, it was just the mature storytelling was here in America. Now some of it went, real mature, meaning like R rated, like heavy metal, in the
Right.
late '80s, early '90s. That anthology story series with beautiful animation and mature storytelling, all that was well before we had the anime boom over here. We
Mhm.
had sorry,
Was it Wizards?
Wizards. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean Ralph
Yeah.
Bakshi alone. You bring up his entire catalog. He was
Right.
doing mature storytelling, adult storytelling at times. Some of his stuff was damn near pornographic at times, and but
Yeah.
it's like it's stylized, it's cartoony, but it's visceral and adult. Everything you would say about anime, but you're not going to call it anime just because it's that. You know what I mean? You're gonna
Right.
you're like that. You look at the Don Bluth films, which lean definitely more towards the younger audience, but that traumatizing young audience, like Secret of
Mhm.
Nim, is one of my favorite this animated movies. Period.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's gorgeous animation. It's dark and mature storytelling. Even though it was marketed kind of at kids because it's animated in the '80s, it was animated. There's no way it can be for adults, right? So,
Right. Right.
like, you have his work from that to even the more child friendly stuff like An American Tale. you that'll put every kid in
Oh,
depression when you hear the
I,
"Somewhere Out There" song.
mhm.
And I mean, one of my favorite too was The Land Before Time. While granted there's a lot of like silly dinosaurs like running around and big smiles, Littlefoot's mom went out in the beginning. That was just motherfucking heartbreaking.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, like there's a big thing of like American animation and then Japanese animation kind of taking cues from each other and stuff like that. Like,
Oh yeah,
even from like the Mickey Mouse perspective, like just to date back even further,
yeah.
just them kind of like playing off of each other and sort of making different animations and stuff like that. Like it's just it's really neat to see how far both countries have really come as far as animation and
Oh,
the
for
different
sure.
steps they've taken.
And that's actually the thing. I'm gonna look up his name real quick because I'm always terrible at remembering it. He was the creator of Astro Boy.
Osamu Tezuka.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
He has, it's long known that he based the Astro Boy was heavily influenced from Mickey Mouse.
Hmm.
So we never would have even had anime if it wasn't for
Right.
what Disney was already doing in the West. And again,
Yes.
but you never, no one's going to look at Astro Boy if you know what it is and call it a cartoon. They'll always call it
Right.
anime. And that's mainly what I'm kind of like, you know, pointing out for it all is just that uh, it seems to be like everything they want to call everything of quality animation anime, but you're not going to
Hmm.
call an anime a cartoon. Although you know, intentionally because it has like Cowboy Bebop, heavily Western influence. You know, very you know, from Italian westerns to our sci-fi to, you know, just like the characters. While granted, like, you know, the name's Spike Spiegel. That's not a very Japanese name, you know.
Right.
And Jet Black, Faye Valentine, Edward. You know what I mean? But no one's calling that a, oh, that's a cartoon. Yeah, that's obviously Western.
Mhm.
You know, and that's more my thing. It's like, and again, here we go. Just once again, I'm not an asshole. Don't hate me. If you call Avatar an anime, I'm not going to get mad and correct you and waggle my finger at you and mansplain why you're wrong. You know, but give credit where credit's due, I think. You know what I mean? And how far Western animation has really come and really improved. One
Right.
part in, you know, due to the influence of anime, but it's always also been there.
Hmm. And like another thing, that I think a lot of times, American viewers will do, especially the diehard like 80s and 90s cartoon watchers and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, give new cartoons a chance,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like no, they don't have like the super like macho um like men in the series or anything like that. That's just like the main character and the damsels in distress and stuff like that. They have like a lot more heart nowadays. I feel like it's a lot more inclusive, and
Oh, yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's just a really great thing. I love seeing how cartoons have progressed over the ages, and I think one of the biggest ones that like you know was pretty controversial whenever it came out, but I feel like it broke a lot of barriers with Steven Universe.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, because I mean, it had that show had so much heart. It included some really amazing characters. You had a lot of strong female leads in it and everything, and it was just such a great story, like really amazing storytelling, and the animation to it was like on like par with some of the best stuff that people will just look at, anime wise.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Oh, there's a definitely a deep anime influence within Steven Universe, from the
Mhm.
storytelling to the
Oh yeah.
action sequences, you know, and no, yeah, and I mean, to having a you know, while granted it's called Steven Universe,
Hmm.
the crystal gems are just as important in the series
Right.
and just as much main characters,
Hmm.
and that, for me at least, to my knowledge, and y'all can correct, anyone can always correct me. I believe female leads in action series, with the exception of a few, like what we had, like Shira in the
Shira.
'80s, you know,
Yeah.
which really was just like, hey, we want to make girls like He-Man too. Like, that was just
Mm.
blatantly why they did it. And but like a female lead in an action series is a heavy anime influence because
Hmm.
even if, granted, admittedly, sometimes they were very overly sexualized in anime. Anime's always been big about having a strong female lead in their action shows, even if it
Right.
wouldn't necessarily shoujo. It could be even shonen style. You know, they've
Hmm.
never shied away from that, and that's been a great thing that the Western audience have pulled. And I bring up Shira. While granted, I didn't watch that. I watched Steven Universe, a good chunk of it, and I really enjoyed that show. While the Shira remake, which Shira was never my
Hmm.
cup of tea, so I never honestly had much of a desire to watch it. I
Yeah.
hear, but what I see from the fandom, from people's
Hmm.
posts, what the representation within that show has
Yeah.
been amazing and what they've done with it. And I even did a fan drawing of the new She-Ra design. Just and
Hmm.
admittedly, that was just a salty drawing of just like all these men were just losing their shits. Like they were just all of a sudden
Right.
these. Well, I've always been down with She-Ra, and this looks like crap. You just want to bitch because
Right.
it's not.
You didn't watch Shiro.
You didn't watch a damn thing about She-Ra because
Yeah.
you're same uh same motherfuckers who like were scared to admit they like girly things or whatever. Your masculine buddies would have teased you even if you wanted to like She-Ra back in the day, and now you're just
Right.
being a little shitheel about it nowadays.
Right.
But like that show too, and again, I think Steven Universe has been a huge influence on Western cartoons.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that I've seen that art style I see done in like YouTubers who draw, who just do drawings on video. Like you can see the influence from it, and we wouldn't have had.
Hmm.
And I think Steven Universe was a big gateway for like the She-Ra cartoon. The what was it? Uh, Bee and Puppy Cat was kind of thing. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Being Puppy Cat, and I mean, like if you want to go even further back in Adventure Time,
Adventure Time
uh,
was a huge. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and it had some really great, strong female characters in that series too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they were like it. The world was like there were princesses for like every kingdom, and they
Right.
were like the leaders of every kingdom.
Yeah, and not
Uh,
only that, they weren't perfect.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
oftentimes in Western stuff, they want to write a female character, whether it's because
mm,
they're lazy and don't know how to write interesting characters, or they're worried about
right.
offending someone. Female leads oftentimes are written a little, and this has been kind of my issue with where we had the early start of like the strong female leads here in the West was,
Hmm.
and I don't like it when it's a male character either. Just for the record, when they
Yeah.
just no flaws, nothing to get over, no struggle, and that's no longer the case regardless of what the internet wants to argue every time a quote unquote Mary Sue is in a lead
Mm,
role. There's plenty of now strong female characters that have struggles, that have issues, that have character growth because we are getting better writers. We're getting female writers in there for one, as well as just even male writers are being a little more aware of, hey, it's okay to write a female lead with flaws, and people are going to accept it and appreciate the characters more. And kind of circling back, I think that goes to anime. You know what I mean? I think that
mhm.
was at least in part that was a big thing, a big influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's been a like I said, Western cartoons have grown so much, and and there's an audience. I still see the She-Ra, the cosplay, the fan art. I see Steven Universe. I don't think the new one has really picked up steam like the original did as much.
Hmm.
Kind of getting Borutoed.
Oh no.
But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But I still see fan art for all the different gems. Even not even the main lead crystal gems, like all the side gems that have these character arcs and these personalities and lives in them. Because that show especially is a very rich, big universe. Pun sort of
Mhm.
there.
Right. Yeah. It's phenomenal. I really like how far it's come, and I just wish, sometimes people would just let go of like the things that are holding them back for watching stuff like that, because I feel like if they just gave it a chance, they would enjoy something like that. Or if it's not their cup of tea, to just shut the fuck up about it.
It's true, and of course, online you're never gonna get anyone shutting the fuck up about
Right.
anything. Negativity gets you the easiest views, the easiest. Like our podcast, as much we love every single person that listens every single week, but
Hmm.
and I don't think it would be hard to say that we could damn near guarantee that we could double our numbers, if not more, if we just came on here and shat on everything. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Just
It's like, yeah,
became
fuck this,
yeah.
fuck that. I hate everything.
Yeah, I mean that's easy to bitch. I could bitch and moan all
Yeah,
damn day. I do bitch and moan on here at
yeah,
times, but I'd rather talk about what I love more than what I hate. Although I will talk about
yeah.
what I hate openly.
Absolutely. I mean, like, and I think that's one of the things that made us really want to start this, is because we don't like to really complain or hate on anything. Like we just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about things that we're passionate about and things that we love and want to see in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Even if it's a topic of something we don't agree upon,
Mhm.
we can discuss things, and it's okay not to agree with everybody, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to shit all over what they like. I don't
Right.
like I mentioned. Shiro was not my thing. The new show, not my thing. Don't care about it. Uh, there's no interest in watching it. Not to say I might watch it one of these days, but really no
Mhm.
interest, no drive. But I'm not
Mhm.
going to go online when people or when I see someone post how much they like it. I'm like, that's stupid. You don't. I don't
Yeah.
like it, so it has to be bad. You know.
Yeah, go out of your way to go onto every Star Wars announcement and talk about how you hate like the all the different characters and stuff for that, please. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you show you're a true fan, by shitting on the product and shitting on people
Yeah.
who like the
Yeah.
product. Which, I'll shit
Yeah.
on you for shitting. You know, I'll hate everything you are saying with
I,
your words.
I will purposely go on to posts like that
Hmm.
and just report like comments about it
Yeah,
like all the time, like
I
left and
mean,
right. I don't even care.
yeah,
Like I'll go out of my way to do that. So
yeah. I mean, and it sucks that we have to do that. Now, don't get it wrong. I mean, hate is nothing new. People
right.
shitting on stuff that's different is not new. I'm guilty because I know there are people out there who liked the Michael Bay Transformers. But if you post it, I might make an angry emoji saying how much if you saying how much you like it, I might give an angry emoji. And but if they're not asking why I'm mad or asking why I don't like it, I don't just go on there and say your taste in this movie is garbage and you're a garbage person because I'm right because I'm me.
just just go on a tangent.
I said, now you want to have a discussion about why I don't like it. Man, you better sit
Yeah,
down, get a bag of chips and a sody pop because you're going to be here for a minute. But I'm not.
I think. Yeah, I think that was everyone whenever we were talking about how much we liked the Hellboy movie.
That is literally everyone else in the entire world, not just our
Yeah, yeah,
circle of friends. The world
yeah,
is against that
yeah.
movie, but you and me are holding strong to our beliefs that
Seriously,
I
like
like
I
it.
rewatched it too long ago, and I still fucking love that movie.
Yeah, and I can acknowledge why I think we liked it, and but
Hmm.
and because it used to be the whole, for me at least, I would tell people it was because the movie doesn't really dive into a lot of explanations about what we're seeing. It really helps if
Hmm.
you're already a fan.
Yeah,
But I've
yeah,
talked to people who have read Hellboy and hated that movie.
yeah,
So it's just us holding it down. Hellboy was, and
yeah,
I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna put my feet in the sand or whatever, die on this hill. It was a good movie. It
yeah.
was now was it as breathtakingly gorgeous cinema as the originals? No, but you're not gonna. Few people can go toe to toe on that level with Guillermo del Toro. You know what I mean? And I think they paid fitting tribute. I think it was action. I think it was more mature, which Hellboy is a very mature series. And my only complaint, the motherfucker need to keep his top knot done up. That was the only issue I really had with it. People complain about the makeup. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, yeah. He
Like
looked horrifying. It was perfect.
I think he looked great. I think they paid enough tribute to the Ron Perlman look with a
Hmm.
little take on their own because obviously you can't just take the same prosthetics he wore and slap it on dude from Stranger Things. I can never remember his fucking name when I want to talk about him. But, it's the sheriff
Right.
from Stranger Things. We all know that's who he is for the rest of his career.
David Harbour.
David Harbour, who's a great actor. Actually,
Hmm.
I'm really been enjoying him. I'm glad he's diving into comic book movies, even if you didn't like his first thing. I'm looking forward to him as was it Red Star in Black Widow?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's who he's playing. Or was it Red Guardian?
Maybe
I
the Red
think.
Guardian. He's basically
Yeah,
Russia's Captain America. And like, yeah, Hellboy was just fine. I don't know what I get people who are like, I don't know. It didn't feel like a movie that needed a lot of explanations, but that seems to be a lot of people's complaints. Like too much going on without any explanation. We didn't know what was we were watching.
yeah.
Like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to accept that he's in a fucking house with bird legs and a fucking witch is in there. And he's trying to handle Baba Yaga's fucking
Baba
shit.
Yaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baba Yaga. Look it up.
Look it up. Read
Jeez.
a fucking book.
Oh man, that like always takes me back to Ant Man and the Wasp.
Oh yeah. Yep.
and the dude's always bringing up Baba Yaga whenever a ghost pops up.
Uh Yeah, so right, and like y'all weren't complaining, whatever. Like Bobby, I think they use that same term also in the John Wick movies. You know, like
Oh yeah,
because that
yeah.
was kind of his nickname, the Boogeyman kind of a thing. Y'all weren't
Mhm.
bitching about that. I didn't know what that meant. I don't know why he knows Krav Maga until movie 3. Y'all ain't worried about all this details. You just accepted that he threw a dude and then shot a dude in the face. you know, but Hellboy gets made. Y'all like, "Rrr, rrr, 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 rrr."
Yeah. This
Sorry.
isn't Ron Perlman.
Man, this turned negative really quick. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
like, no, I'm fine with it. This is
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
This is,
yeah,
like, not all
yeah,
talk has to be happy talk, and I just hate that. Like,
yeah,
like we're insulting our listener base probably, but you know what? Hey, look. You don't like it? Come at me, bro. you know what I mean? To bring a meme from 2000 and probably 8
yeah.
or
Yeah,
some
no,
shit,
right?
right? Oh, I love that anteater standing up. Meme.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
come at me, bro. At least that's how I first saw that classic
yeah.
meme. But the point,
Memes before we knew what they were.
right, but now that we went into like Hellboy and everything else, Avatar is not an anime. Is the point we were getting up and bringing up Hellboy, David Harbour's Hellboy. No,
Could you wager to say though?
yes,
Can you
yes,
compromise
uh,
and say American anime?
no,
Okay.
yes.
Fine.
I mean that if you really wanted to call it that, but that's
Yeah.
you know what? If you're gonna call it that, you might as well just call it Japanimation. And I hate that term, and that's a
Oh yeah.
terrible term that nobody accepts. Because to me, that's the
Yeah.
same thing, and it's only
Yeah.
because if you want to talk categorizing, putting them in the blocks for giving credit to the genre, the style. By calling Avatar anime, you're taking a very good show away from someone who could wants to say defend Western animation.
Hmm.
And that's really what it boils down to in a discussional format. If you're sitting at home and you're typing on your Faces book and your Twitterers and your Instagrams and you're saying, I love Avatar, it's my favorite anime, I'm going to be like, I'm a thumbs up your post anyway. Because in the end, that's cool.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to bring up a Western versus Eastern animation, say, like, who's the heavy hitters, you ain't going to take Avatar away from the West. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
really what it's about for me. You know, like when you want to have a discussion about quality animation, you got to give credit to where it's originated from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
And I think that's always like important thing whenever you're going through any mediums, comic books or whatever is
Yeah.
don't just share shit all the time, especially like art, without giving some kind of credit to the artist.
Right, right. Yeah, I always try to like at least whenever I share a post. I'm mainly on Facebook, so it's super easy when I see someone posting someone's art and I share it. It's usually that person's page, the official page. So always full credit where credit's due. Like we borrowed, and I think the only time I ever borrowed art was before I got these drawings done. And I know one of them was from we had borrowed and full credit. I think we credited in the actual episode that used it where I had the oh I'm forgetting that shonen when I put in the Tengu and the Kappa from the animes, before I drew ours. You know,
Oh
I'm
yes, the one from Toriko.
Toriko, that's the name, and the other
Yeah,
one
yeah.
is from the Kappa anime that I'm looking up now because it had a very complicated title and I can never remember it. Uh,
You got this.
I'm
I
looking
believe in you. You should have just used Summer Days with Q,
right.
but it's
It is
okay. I
called
don't blame you for it.
It's called Zanmai. Sarah Zanmai, which was an
Oh.
excellent and weird fucking kappa based series, but I loved it to death.
Did fuck, I forgot. Oh, did you ever get to the Kappa in Inspector?
And
Did you ever watch Inspector?
no, I don't think I ever
Damn it!
watched that one.
It's the only reason I wanted you to watch that. Because it had a Kappa in it at one point. But it's
Hey,
fine.
I know
It's
that
fine.
feel. I know that feel. There's been a few shows where I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you need to. Hey, Jerry, you should watch this. Are you reading this one? Are you reading this?
Oh
And nine
man.
times out of 10,
Yeah.
it's because there's a Tengu in it or something,
Yeah.
which we've gotten actually in some of the more recent manga. Now that's been dropping.
Yes.
We've had
Oh man.
we had a few that were really good that had of course I closed my app 'Cause I planned on
It's
talking about it.
Phantom Seer is the current one.
Yes, Phantom Seer, which
Yes.
opened with I can't say spoiler because it was like within the first chapter they killed a
Mhm.
kappa,
Yeah.
but eventually we got someone who's using a very unique take on Tengu that I absolutely love.
Mhm.
So that's been a really good one, and that's kind of like that was one of the ones also that we've been talking about. I think on the last episode uh, last one we recorded with just us, we were talking about how like there's been a lot of supernatural manga
Mhm.
really coming in on Shonen Jump. 'Cause
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen I think was the biggest one because there's the anime just started up for it.
yeah, exactly. But there's been
Yeah,
other ones like going through it. Like it had a new one.
Go-
I've already
Ghost
dropped.
Reaper Girl.
Well, no, I'm on that one. I was just gonna bring one I kind
Okay.
of dropped already.
Yeah.
It's called Our Blood Oath with the two
Oh
brothers.
right. Hmm.
What really feeling that one? Like Phantom Seer has been great. Yeah, Ghost Reaper Girl is very
Mm.
cool, and like
Yeah.
really interesting too about that one was that it's always noted on the beginning that the author requested it be read from left to right in the Western
Mhm.
style. But that one's a lot of fun. We've had I swear there was something else. Well, not really supernatural in a sense of like traditional like that, but Kaiju number 8.
Yes.
That one's been a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And I honestly am not sure. Like, did that start off as a shonen series or what happened? Because they weren't releasing it, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, we're releasing so many
Yeah,
chapters of this
yeah, they
series." You
dropped
know?
like 5 chapters or something like in the first day.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a Shonen Jump series, but I think it's something that's Viz because we go through the Viz app for reading our
Mm.
stuff online. And while granted it's pretty much shonen, I think they do have a few that dip from other manga like collected volumes and whatnot.
Right.
But we can get into some of those that we are reading. One that
Yeah.
I'll bring up one. I'll jump on the first one that I am begging for an anime.
Yeah.
That's called My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Ooh, I know, man.
My
I
God,
know.
like if y'all aren't like the manga is published here in the West, so if
Mm.
y'all again, I'm sure we've talked about it before. If y'all aren't reading Vigilantes and you love My Hero Academia, you're missing out on a good chunk of not only history, just another good look at the world that they've built in
Oh,
that.
yeah. And I mean, it's something that we wanted for a long time was the physical copies, but like still, if if you just pay like what is it, $3 a month for the Shonen Jump app, you
Right?
get all this for free, and you can
Yeah,
just go back and read it
you can
like
read it in its entirety.
to the end.
You can
Yeah.
read amazing mangas like Spy Family because I know the X is supposed to be silent, but most are going to read it as Spy X Family. This also needs an anime. It is
Man,
about
that's another one that I got you into,
you
and
did.
then like I need to get caught up in.
It's
Like I'm
so
so
good.
mad at myself. It
It's
really
it's
is.
it's just about a spy who has a mission where he needs a family, and he inadvertently gets an assassin to be his wife because he didn't know about her skills at first because she's a beast of an assassin, and they adopt a daughter that had never been picked up because she's always seen as kind of weird, who's psychic, and
Hmm.
like it's funny, it's action,
Yeah.
it's heartfelt at times. It's a great one that I really hope gets animated eventually.
Yeah. Going into some other series
Yeah,
here. Something okay. Listen, I can't explain it. I don't know why. I've really like groaned and moaned about this series for the longest fucking time. I'm still reading it 92 chapters later, and that's Chainsaw Man. Like
I tried.
for real. Yeah, man, and it's like one of those things of like I really hate the main character. Like there's just no substance there at all. But holy shit, the art is so good. And whenever it goes into the action sequences, when he turns into Chainsaw Man and the
Right.
demon mode and stuff, like it is so amazing. And I think like another part of like while I'm still reading it is because there's not a lot of like dialogue in it a lot of the time.
Right.
Like the person that writes it, Tetsuki Fujimoto, like they just absolutely kill it on the art, like week in and week out, and they love to do their action sequences. So it's like it'll just be him with fucking chainsaw arms and chainsaw head, just fucking mowing through a bunch of zombies or some shit. It really though, like, and it's kind of funny because I've said this for like the last 4 or 5 months. I feel like that they're planning on wrapping it up soon. Like
Yeah,
that's what it feels
that's.
like.
I'm probably gonna pick it up once it's finished and just kind
Yeah.
of marathon through it. Right now,
Hmm.
surprisingly, the one I've started and stopped so many times, and again I've started it up again,
Hmm.
is Black Clover.
Yes.
I'm actually reading that again because I
Yeah.
gave up on reading JoJo on the phone because my phone's just not big enough to appreciate the art.
Right.
That's probably gonna end up being a physical one. Another series I know I've been pushing on you, and I've sent you panels, and I don't think you
Hmm.
started it because you don't love me. Is Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
This
It's only
is
18 chapters in,
It's
too.
only 18. I think this is a
Yeah.
sleeper hit. It is
Yeah.
creative. It is hilarious. Like when you got fish people that can come on land in human form and then kind of go in between for the actiony sequences, and you just
Hmm.
have a dolphin cop who's literally just a bulky dude with a dolphin head and a fin battling them. And he's talking shit to this one guy who has like real puffy, spiky hair. He's like, "Look here, you little sea urchin." He's like, "I'm a marlin. Look, sea urchin, don't you ever come up to me again without being dipped in soy sauce." Like he's just talking like great
Yo,
shit.
what the fuck?
And it's got adorable little girl who the dolphin guy protects, and the hardboiled cop they nicknamed Shark. He's fully human, comes to this island to deal with the underwater mafia. Like, what more do you
Oh,
need, Jerry? Get on this book. And what more do you need, people in Japan who aren't listening to this? Make this an anime. It's I think it's a sleeper hit of these newer books that just started.
yeah. It's, man, they've had so much stuff come out, and it's kind of hard to keep up with sometimes. I need to just like set aside more time to dedicate to it. Because one of the big ones that I feel started off pretty strong, it kind of got a little meh, but then got good again. It's kind of like, had that up and down, is Mission Yozakura Family. And I don't know, you may have just read the first chapter of it and then
I
decided not
no,
to. Yeah.
I read a few chapters, but I did
Yeah.
drop that one.
Yeah, it's kind of got this weird thing. Like, I it's hard for me to get into a series whenever the main character is seemingly invincible. I
Yeah,
feel like, or like, they can just keep them alive for a comedic effect and stuff like that. And they kind of did that a bit in this series, but it kind of had this really good like build up for the main character, because what it is essentially about is he lost his family at a young age. He's kind of a loner. Um, Something happens, and there's this girl in his class that he has a crush on. Um, he starts getting attacked by her older brother, and the way that they resolve it is they essentially get married while they're still in high school. And but since he's like in this family now, they have to train him to become an assassin.
right.
So he goes through all these trials and tribulations through each family member, learning like the best of their tactics from each one of them, and then like the plot kind of thickens whenever he starts finding out more about like another group of assassins that may have had something to do with the death of his family and stuff like that. But it just got really interesting, and it's got some really great comedy to it, and the art in it has been really really great. It's by Hitsuji Gundira.
Right.
And it's got some really interesting character designs. Like, there's one of the brothers who's like the mechanical expert, and he's always tinkering and making machines and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like literally always naked in a trash can half the time. And then there's another brother who's like always dealing with like mutations and biology and stuff like that. And he's like this huge like bowed up person in a lab coat, and he's got a bucket on his head with a drawn on smiling face.
I so
It's
wanted to
like,
cosplay him when I first saw him.
yeah,
But
yeah, so
yeah,
great.
like it's one like luckily they still pop up because the Viz app, no matter what, if
Yeah,
you've read a chapter, the new ones always pop up on, hey, continue reading.
yeah,
You can't delete them. Viz, I know you're not listening, but fix this shit. Because there are
yeah,
some that I don't want to go back to, But I'm happy sometimes because like Black Clover was, it always pops up because I started it and stopped it, started stopped it, and I kind of was caught up on everything and didn't have anything physical to read at work on my lunch breaks. So I started up Black Clover again, and I could. There's other series I feel like I'll eventually will see, especially if they end. Then I feel a little more motivated. Like, okay, I can read it all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the other
Yeah.
beauty, if I can also pimp out something else about Viz, is there are some good short form, whether by their design or against their will. There was some
Mm-hmm.
very good manga that didn't last very long that are still on here that you can read. One I know you and me were very crazy about that, and I always mean to look it up and I haven't yet. Was Time
Mm-hmm.
Paradox Ghost Rider?
Right.
That was an amazing show manga that only went 14 chapters, and I don't know if that was by design or by just lack of popularity. But it's basically the story of a failing manga artist who just wants to create, and he always kind of falls short when it comes time to finally produce, even though he's got talent. But
Mm-hmm.
his microwave goes wacky one time, and he ends up finding a Shonen Jump from the future with like the greatest manga ever, and he steals it, and without going, he makes it his own, and then without getting into too much detail, it affects the future, and he's in a way he's gotta make it his own while also trying to keep that quality up. It's like I said, it's only 14 chapters. If y'all have the app or nefarious means of however you read manga, you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good short form one. Even if
Yeah.
it felt a little rushed at the end because maybe it just wasn't doing well in the reader polls or whatever, affects the Shonen Jump standings. It's a damn good read.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, like there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it through the Shonen Jump meat grinder, as we like to say.
Right.
Um, but like, I would still recommend reading these, even though they didn't continue and they got axed early. I mean, they still like in the last chapter sort of make up an ending of what they wanted to do,
Yeah.
and so it kind of gives you a glimpse of like, oh man, we could have gotten to this. But a couple of them that I think we've had just over the years that I think has been really good. I think one of the ones that I was reading that I don't think you were super into, Hell Warden Haguma.
Yeah, I
Um,
never did start that one.
yeah, I think it all came out in 2019, and it was another one of those paranormal series, and it was about this kid that would exorcise spirits and everything. And one of the ways that he fought, and I thought it was pretty neat, and it was very tropey, very Shonen Jump,
Yeah.
is he would use the hands of different demons and stuff that he had, and the different hands would give him different abilities. And then, of course, whenever he beat another one, a more powerful one, he would get those hands into his arsenal. So
Ah, okay.
it was a really interesting like trope, and I really looked forward to seeing where they were going to go with
Yeah.
it.
I
Uh,
I had a couple like we're nearing our
yeah.
time, but
Okay.
well, if we want to, now we can keep fucking talking. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a couple others that kind of ended early was one. I don't know if you started a Bone Collection.
I started it, and I think I got close to the end, but I still haven't finished it.
So it went 15 chapters. It's a fun little shonen, another supernatural one. It just didn't last long as some of these others, where
Hmm.
a exorcist teams up with a spirit who he uses, like basically pulls weapons out of her. It's got kind of an etchy moment because her most powerful weapons are from her chest. As he
Right.
reaches in, and it's very. I enjoyed that one. It only went 15 chapters, and one which I could be wrong. I'm gonna look it up right now. Uh, Not supernatural, but fantasy was called Guardian of the Witch,
Oh
and
yes.
I think it's getting an anime, even though it only went
Really
19 chapters. They could make that
interesting.
into a 12 or however long series. So, but that one was good. It was slow for me at first, but I eventually dug into it.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting. I really like the dynamic with like the Guardian and the Witch fighting together in tandem. I thought that was really neat. One of the ones that I think like you and I were really digging into that I just don't see why it didn't keep going. And it's funny because you mentioned Noelle like earlier before we started, and
Yeah.
I got her into it, and then it fucking ended as soon as she like the next week after she got caught up was the last Sayuki.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that was so it was essentially this story, and it's about this kid, and his mom died, and he lives with his dad. His dad, as far as he knows, is just like a monk or something of that nature. One day, his dad brings this girl home, this little girl that he's like adopting, and she can't see. She doesn't have arms or legs, and you essentially find out that she has this ability to manifest things from her imagination.
Right.
Uh, and the main character gets this weapon, and it's basically like the stories of Sayuki or whatever. You have the power pole,
Yeah.
and they were kind of getting into this point where he was like, they were fighting in tandem, and he was using this pole, and you could do all kinds of stuff with your imagination with it, and turn it into like guns and stuff like that, and make it extend into like some kind of crazy weapons. I think there was one girl there at one point that was like a magical girl. So she had hers like a magical girl wand that she also used like a club. But that one was really good. Had a lot of feels to it.
Right. And I think the other one, the last one we'll touch on, it was one that we both hurt both of us, and now the creator has started a new one though. But was
well, not the creator,
or
the
artist.
artist.
Sorry, yes, the artist.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the creator is going to work on something else. So it was Tokyo Shinobi Squad.
Man, that one had like the most potential in my opinion out of all those new ones that we just mentioned.
Yeah,
like Tokyo Shinobi Squad was probably the top contender that I had to keep going.
yeah, because that one, I mean, just only when I'm looking at now, only went 27 chapters,
Mm-hmm.
but like the creativity of like it's everything I wanted Naruto to be in a Shinobi story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of like keeping interesting techniques. And I know Naruto people come at me. I don't care. It got boring after a while. I don't give a fuck what y'all's boring ass power fantasy series you want to hype up. Stuff it went beyond Dragon Ball Z. People, come on. But Tokyo Shinobi Squad had a unique premise, a unique setting, and just the use of their shinobi abilities were just very cool. Every new reveal, every new someone else's new techniques was awesome, and I was really shocked it ended.
Yeah. And it was a story by Yuki Tanaka and art by Kento Matsura. Kento Matsura is the one that's doing the other series now that I legitimately just forgot the
Is
fucking name
that
to.
that's
Ghost,
Kaiju
Ghost
number
Seer.
8? Right? No.
No, Ghost Seer.
Oh, Ghost Seer. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else
Um,
Kaiju.
but yeah, and it was like kind of one of my things that I wish I always wanted them to give somebody ability to, and that's Phantom Seer. Sorry,
Phantom
but
Seer.
that's like gravity powers, right? Like magnetic powers
Yeah.
is essentially what the main character had, and they had these scrolls, and if you train with them so long, you get abilities, and if you train with them even longer, you unlock more abilities for them, and the whole premise was like, it takes place in the future. Japan's opened up to trade. They have these trans like continent fucking railroads, like rail system that goes through all these different countries and stuff. But like one of the problems with that is they've opened up their country to like some like really harmful sources like gangs and triad and stuff like that have kind of taken over some districts. So in come the shinobi squads that are tasked with missions of like protecting people and assassinations and stuff like that. And they all have like these wild just abilities and stuff like that, and shinobi skills and stuff.
Right. And the shame about some of these like short run series, I'll say, is because some of them I know ended prematurely,
Mm-hmm.
just for whatever reason. It's sad that even as they could make a good one and done season of an anime. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing because they didn't do well in their publication, or they ended for whatever reason, it could be, we probably won't ever see that. And I think like Tokyo Shinobi Squad about fucked all that up. Would make and like you get like a quality like is it UFO Table who do like Demon Slayer? You
Mm-hmm.
get a quality animation studio like that just to do a 20 episode. They'll take the 27 chapters made and just go ahead and make it into a 20 episode season. and with beautiful animation, even if it's only one and done, I think you have a hit. I think you could
Yeah.
maybe not revitalize the manga, but like I think it could do well for views as well as hey, you can make the anime may do better than the manga. That's happened before, and it could lead to something.
Yeah, just getting it out there. There's actually one more that I was going to mention,
Right.
and it didn't get cut short. It ran its full lifespan, but I don't know that enough people know about it, and that's the Doctor Stone side series.
Oh
It's
yeah,
called,
yeah.
yeah, Doctor Stone reboot Byakuya, and it's essentially the story of uh, holy crap, I'm spacing on the main character's name from Doctor Stone.
Oh Lord. Hold on. Wow, so am I. We're like the worst fans in the world.
Yeah. So anyway, it's about his dad, and the whole story is that his dad went into space to he got accepted into the space program, and he went up there with a bunch of other, like, some celebrities, some scientists, and stuff like that, and they were up there when the event happened.
Right.
Yeah, and when the event happened, they saw it all, and then they had to figure out, what they were going to do next, and it's a lot of, like, their survival and their next steps and stuff like that, and then they have this little AI robot that is just like it became like an amazing character, honestly,
Right.
and it was just like such a great story, such a great thing in general. I just really enjoyed where they went with it.
The lead's character name is Senku. Which
Senku,
I always
that's right.
forget. But yeah, his father being an astronaut. Honestly, I think that one ran its course what it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah,
Cause,
yeah. No, it was completed.
right. It was it was short form, but it kind of gave another look at what was going on during the events of the petrification. For those who don't know, it's the story about a blast of light goes across the world and petrifies everything
Mhm.
for like centuries, like hundreds and thousands of years. And like, but there was a small group of people in space. Spoilers for the early stuff, but you should have caught up by now if you cared. Uh, managed to survive and they get back to Earth, and that's kind of how
Mhm.
man restarts, which you find out later. But anyway, yeah, that's another very good short form. And another one, while I'm not gonna say a damn word about it because I know there's plenty of people out there who are only gonna watch the anime.
Mhm.
Sometimes a series can feel like they're rushing to an ending, but it's exactly how it's supposed to be. I kind of felt that way about the ending to Demon Slayer.
Oh, right,
Because
right.
for those who don't know, Demon Slayer, the manga has ended. It came to a full blown
Mhm.
conclusion. I thought they could have pushed it further. That's all I'm going to really say. Because a lot of stuff kind of wrapped up in the end arc. But
Mhm.
apparently that's exactly how she wanted it to end. And so
Mhm.
she got the ending she wanted to an amazing series that's going to continue to have. I mean, it went 200 something chapters, so we're going to have plenty of seasons.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But for those listening, the ending might feel rushed to y'all as well because I thought that was like, man, it ain't. But I said, there's no way this is doing bad. You know what I mean? This can't. The manga
Mhm.
can't be failing unless it is one of those instances where the anime is doing better than the manga. But I don't think so. Like from what I've been able to find, it said that's exactly how she had it planned from the jump. So it's good stuff, regardless.
Right. Yeah, and that's Koyoharu Gotege
Thank you.
was the person working on that. Yeah, Demon Slayer was phenomenal. Like, just the world that they created and all the characters in it.
Yeah.
It was something really special, and I look forward to watching the anime for the next few years that it's going to be airing.
Absolutely. I really hope Crunchyroll. They haven't announced it yet. I know they're going to do a limited theater release of the new movie,
Yeah.
which is the next chapter. It's the next arc in the manga. So it's like unlike a lot of anime movies of a long running series where you can skip them because they're typically not canon. They don't really fit in.
Right.
This is, and it's breaking records in Japan. But
Mm-hmm.
like, and I've heard limited release talk over here. But I hope Crunchyroll streams it or at least makes it for purchase. somewhere. I hope they do a physical release because I gotta watch it. Even though I've read it, I
Right.
know what happens. I don't care. I gotta watch it, and I really hope it. I can watch it, you know, on Crunchyroll. But I'll be happy.
Hmm.
Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I'll be happy to probably buy that DVD or that Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, and it's, I feel like we're getting really close to how they release a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime for you
Right.
to buy or rent. I think we're, because I want to say, what was it? I think the My Hero Academia, the second movie, popped up on Amazon recently.
Did it?
So
Okay.
yeah,
I still need to watch the second one, so I'll have to look.
yeah,
I'll have to look into that one myself.
yeah, it was real good.
Right. Well, that is gonna do it for today. Jerry,
Hmm.
thank you as always for coming to chat with me and let me rant about my things when I get angry.
It is always a pleasure.
If you like what you heard, please drop a comment. Let us know what you think about some of these topics that we talked about. Is there any manga you're reading, any anime? Do you think I'm a moron for saying Avatar is not anime? Just let us know. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, share the videos. That's one of the biggest help you can do for this is always sharing. And a lot of our friends do, and I appreciate every one of y'all. But for today, that's gonna do it. We'll catch y'all later.
Yeah, yeah. Peace.